things. We noticed and wondered about these pictures that I showed you yesterday. Remember doing that? Some of you saw things in them and some of you saw them as colors and shapes. We also learned that agreement method where we held our idea, we shared it, and then sometimes we said, I can live with your idea. That was a strong choice when you would say, I can live with that other idea. When I was working with my partner, sometimes I wanted a different colored pen, but he wanted the black pen, so I said, I can live with that choice. I want you to think back to yesterday. Let's hold this idea to ourselves and think about how many times did you make the strong choice to say, I can live with your idea. It might have happened during the paper color. It might have happened during the pen color. It might have happened on the line choice. Think to yourself, how many times did you say, I can live with your idea, instead of making it all about your idea, making it about the other person's idea? I see some of you are counting 1, 2 times, 3 times. Wow. That's a good feeling, isn't it? Now, the other thing that some people might have done is they did the weak choice, the selfish choice, where they had to make it about them. And that's not necessarily being a good friend or a good team member. So guess what? Today's a new day. And I want you to wonder to yourself, how many times are you going to say the strong choice, I can live with? I can live with your idea. You're going to have 2 chances to do it today. Do you think one of them, at least one of them, you'll be able to say, I can live with your idea? You think you'll be able to do that? Because that's the strong choice. Put your finger in the air. And let's draw a C shape, okay? A C shape. What you just drew in the air is a line, okay? Now, once you put your finger in the air again, we're almost gonna draw a C shape. Remember where you start. This is really important. Draw a C shape, and then come back to where you started. Do you know how you closed off that space right there? You kind of made almost like a D shape, wasn't it? Like a D shape, because you made the C, but then you closed it off. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The first time you drew something like this, and we call this a line. What do we call this? A line. And the second time that we drew something that looked a little bit more like this. We came back to where we started and we closed it off. Kind of a D shape. Maybe like that's a D shape, okay? And there's a big difference between these because this isn't a line, it's made from a line, but because we came back to where we started, this is called a shape. What's it called? Shape. What's this one? Line. This one? Shape. This one's closed off. Now I want you to imagine that this container was filled with red paint. It's not really filled with red paint, that's just paper. But if I was to pour red paint inside this shape here, is it gonna stay inside the shape or is it gonna pour out of the shape? Pour out. It's not closed up, so it's gonna do this. That red paint's just gonna go everywhere. It's not closed up. Now I want you to imagine that this D shape, if I was to pour the red paint just inside here and that black edge could stop the paint, is the paint gonna pour out or stay inside? Stay inside. And we're gonna get something more like this. And that is what we want today. We want to make not lines, but shapes. Some of you still have lines on your page, and I'm going to show you how to fix them and turn them into shapes, because we want to be able to do this with our artwork.
That's cool.
It is really cool. And if you look here, do you see how the shapes were closed up and the color didn't spill out? That turquoise color stayed inside there. That blue stayed inside there. It didn't spill out because it was a shape. The edges of the paper count as edges too. That'll stop the paint from going anywhere. On this one here, you see how that was a shape and the red stayed inside. Now some of you might notice that these colors look a little fancy. Did you notice that they look a little bit fancy? And I don't usually show kindergartners how to make these fancy colors that look like they have lots of colors in them. I think you guys are so good at art that I might share that with you. And some of you might be ready for it and some of you might not. But if you are, I usually don't show it until they're first graders. But I think I'm going to show you today how to make these fancy colors that look like lots of colors inside. I think I'm going to show that to you, if that's okay with you. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. So I've changed your envelopes just a little bit from yesterday. It's going to have one of your two names on the front there. And you'll notice that one of the last things that you have to do after paper color, which you did, pen color, which we did, right? Ends of the lines and the line types, and we drew 5 lines. We did all that yesterday, right? One of the other things that you're going to get to do is texture, but before we do texture, we really need to finish up the shapes like I was talking about. If we poured paint inside here, it would stay in the D, but if it was a line like this one and we poured the paint in, it's going to spill out. Well, we don't want it to spill out. So I'm going to show you, I copied one of your artworks. Does somebody recognize this one? So you might notice that in their artwork right here, they were to take this area and just close it up to make it a shape. See how they closed up the area right there? Now what's going to happen when they color it? The paint stays inside. You see that? Let's look at another one. Would the paint spill out right around the corner here? Yeah. So we close it up, and now does the paint stay inside?
Yeah.
Because we've taken a line and turned it into a shape. Exactly. Let's see if there's another one. I pour the paint right here. Does it spill out?
Yeah.
I close it up. Does the purple paint stay inside?
Yeah.
Because we turned a line into a
Shape.
You got it. Excellent. That's what you're going to get to do. So the first thing that you and your partner are going to get to do is to take out your artwork from yesterday, okay? And take out the pen from yesterday. I took away the other pen, so you should have only the pen that you used, okay, in there. And Jackson, do you see any areas where we need to close it up so that our, oh, I agree. Do you want to close that one or should I? So he's going to take that area and just close it up. Perfect. Right up there. Is the paint going to escape now?
No.
Because we turned it into a shape. How about right there? Could we close that one up? Do you guys see any others where we need to close it up? So now we have shape, 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 shape. Shape. Big shape. Triangle, triangle, kind of weird shape, triangle. We've done our first job. If you look at the screen, we got to close up all of our shapes. I want you to feel your shirt. Feel your shirt. Feel your shirt. Now feel your skin. Do those feel exactly the same or a little different? A little different. A little different. The shirt feels different than your skin. Now if you look at this, it looks like it would be rough wood, doesn't it? But is it really rough wood? No, it's smooth. It's pretty smooth. It's not really rough wood. These are all examples of textures. And you get a choice of 2 textures. Has anybody ever felt anything really bumpy? That might be bumpy. One way to make bumpy is to make little circles. Watch what I'm doing. And you would make a bunch of circles, and that's called a texture. What's it called?
A texture.
And a texture could be bumpy. Now you notice on the screen it says number 2, bumpy, or what does that other one look like? Not bumpy, spiky. That's what I was thinking. If you want spiky, just draw little V's. Just little V's, and it'll make like a spiky texture. We gotta decide. We gotta decide if we want a bumpy texture in one of our areas, in one of our shapes, or a spiky texture.
That's a mountain. Spike.
Looks like mountains, doesn't it? So you know what I'm doing, Jackson? I'm showing on my agreement method that I have an idea. Bumpy or spiky?
Spiky.
Well, this is how we do it, right? Show us how we do it. So now you want to let yours go? I think we could use, go ahead.
I think we should use spiky.
I think we could use bumpy. Did we agree?
Oh.
You said spiky, I said bumpy. We didn't agree. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay not to agree. So now we have to go on to blank is a good choice because. Do you want to start? I'm going to say, I can live with spiky. Am I feeling pretty good right now? Did I make the strong choice?
Yes.
Yes! It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Sorry.
we're going to go with spiky. Jackson, where should we put spiky?
I didn't know.
You're okay with that one? I'm okay with that one too. So do you want to make the spiky or should I? You're going to make the spiky? Well, he's making the spiky, little V's, make little V's. Well, he's making the spiky. That is that last decision, one texture, bumpy or spiky. And you have that opportunity to make the strong choice and say, I can live with yours because I'm a good teammate. So I promised that I was going to show you how we do this fancy coloring so it looks so fancy. But in order to get started, we have to decide on the color family we want to use. Oil pastels are like crayons. Make sure that you're not opening it up this way or they'll all fall on the floor. So make sure you're opening them up this way. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. So I'm going to show you some colors that I want you all to try because these colors are just so useful. If you were to look at these artworks, you're going to see these colors were used both times. And those colors that I'm going to give you all for free are black, gray, and white. These three look so good in artworks. I hope you use them. These are freebies, okay? Black, white, and gray. They're called neutral colors. They're not warm colors, they're not cool colors, they're called neutral colors. What would we call these colors? Neutral colors. They're black, white, and gray. They're not warm, they're not cool, they're just neutral colors. It means like kind of in the middle. So now, Jackson, you and I get to choose 4 more colors. How many? 4 more. So we want to make sure that they look good together. Some colors look really great together and others not so much. Personally, I don't really love purple and green. I think that that's kind of a weird combination. Some people like it. Me, I'm not so much. So do you want to get us started and then we'll kind of work on getting a color family that looks really good?
Blue.
You want to pick one of the blues? Go ahead, pick it out. Blue. How about we go, you're picking a light blue. How about I pick a dark blue to go with our light blue? Would that look good together? Yeah? Okay, so we have 2 of our 4. Where should we go now? Do you want to stay in the cool colors? What do you think? Cool colors like green or purple, those are all cool colors. You want to stay in the cool? You want to stay away from the warm colors for now? Okay.
Cool.
How about a purple? Would that be good with our colors? You want a purple? Which one do you want? Green is also a cool color. We could go green. You want like which one, the light one or the little darker? Which one? 2. Does this look like a good color family to us?
Yeah.
You can live with that, Jackson? So that's our color family. Those are the ones we're going to use. And notice we're doing these cool colors on a cool background. That'll be interesting. Here, I'll put it in the middle. Do dark on the edge. Dark on the edge, all around this shape. You got to be able to spot your shapes, okay? So dark on the edge. And what's the rest of it? How do I say it? Dark on the edge and?
Light in the middle.
Now when I do light in the middle, I don't stop when I hit that blue right there. I go over it a little bit. I smear them together. I mix them together like this. So you get a blended color that's kind of in between. It's not really light, it's not really dark. It's kind of in between the two. And how about for this last one, when I get right in the middle, the lightest color there is. The freebie white color. Watch what happens. When I put the white in there, does it stay white or does it mix with the blue?
Mix with the blue.
It mixes with the blue and creates a light blue. And that is how they did this. And it's usually taught in 1st grade or 2nd grade, but I think you guys might want to try it. What if you wanted to just stay one color all the way through? Is that okay?
No.
It is. I mean, you can do it, but it's not the more advanced art. The more advanced art is to try dark on the edge, light in the middle. It looks so cool when you do it that way. So that's what you get to do. Let's look at the screen and see if we understand all the steps that we get to do. We complete our shapes, right? We make an agreement method on bumpy or spiky. We draw bumpy or spiky. We pick out our colors. Are you on number 4 there? We pick out our 4 colors plus black, white, gray. And then we color together. Jackson, we didn't really show them number 5, how we would work together. Let's say we were going to do this shape with dark on the edge, light in the middle. Do you want to start with the dark on the edge and I'll start with the light in the middle? Are we both coloring at the same time? Yeah, and that's how you work together, which is number 5 up here. How can I help? If I do dark, if I do light in the middle, you do dark all the way around the edge of that shape. Just like that. And you just keep going. You keep coloring dark and I keep coloring light, and we might touch each other's hands, and that's okay. And then we can put some white in there to make it really light, and it'll mix with the green. Now if you break one of these, that's okay, but it's showing that you're pushing too hard. They shouldn't break, but they will, they might. Just don't push that hard. If you feel like one of them breaks,